Welcome to the 700 Club. I'm gonna need to leave that 4, that 5, and that 600 credit score at the door. I am your girl, Nika Johnson, a credit coach and budgeting expert, and I help people take control of their money. But make for sure that you're doing whatever you need to do to be able to get out of debt, to make for sure that you're not living the rest of your life struggling. People always talking about, I'm willing to go broke for my kids. Newsflash, that ain't no badge of honor. Be talking about how to eliminate debt. Let's go. Listen, have you ever had someone that was quick to ask you to borrow some money and slow to pay them back? How did you feel? You feel some type of way, right? When we're talking about debt, the easiest way to get your credit together is pay them people. Look, the same way when your friend is borrowing money from you, you want that money back. Them creditors, they want their money back too. You made an agreement when you signed that contract, so let's pay them people back. But go ahead and make for sure you're tuning in so I can drop every strategy that I know to help you make for sure you can climb out of debt. First thing first, the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt is the debt that you control, right? It's the one that you intentionally acquire. It's a investment. So for example, a real estate, buying a rental property, building a real estate portfolio, that would be considered good debt. Now, bad debt is the debt that is controlling you. It's when you're screening those phone calls, when you don't check the mail, and you say, hey, I ain't paying that. They ain't gonna get this student loan bill till I take my last breath. Yeah, does that sound like you? Keep listening. I want you to be able to take control of your finances and live the life that you desire. But it comes down to making sure that we're taking control of our debt. I don't want you feeling like that you can't live life ultimately because that debt you're drowning in. And honestly, let's keep it real. When you think about it, a lot of debt that people are accumulating, what did it do for you? Did you make money off of it? Was it a business risk that you took? Or was it a whole bunch of clothes and shoes and shopping and going on a vacation and doing everything else that wasn't in your budget? Oh, was it going out to eating all you can eat crab leg? Was it fine dining, eating lobster and crab? Like, honestly, when you think about it, people think credit card is free money. I'm sorry, it's not. Pay them people. Let's get into it on how to tackle your debt. First, before we can talk about how to tackle debt, we gotta talk about what is debt. So debt could be an IOU, debt could be in the hole, debt could be owing people money, debt can be owing money, debt can be in the red. All these things is debt. But if debt is holding you back, that's okay. We're gonna break loose and we're gonna make sure that you're not in debt going forward. If debt currently got you in a chokehold, it's okay, because we're gonna make sure you become debt free this year. That's right. Debt can be acquired by several different ways. It could be from going to college and majoring and switching your major. So you're accumulating debt because you're racking up those bills because you're unsure of what you want to major. That could be co-signing on a loan for a partner, a friend, a loved one. That could be having a credit card and not properly manage your finances and not budgeting. So now you're spending more money than what you make and you're using this credit card just to get by. That can be having cable and internet and not turning in those equipment. Now you have a negative collections accounts on your credit report. That can be trying to keep up with the Jones, getting the latest iPhone and Android instead of just keeping the phone that you got because it still works. As long as you can make that call, as long as you can text, as long as you can subscribe to Budget to Success. And while we on it, make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications and show your girl some mad love, okay? But that can be a lot of different things. It could be buying a house, going over asking price. That can be inquired by getting, additional warranties, adding in licensing tags, not getting a good deal on your vehicle. That can also be inquired of when you get into an accident and you're rolling over negative equity. You're picking up what I'm putting down. That can be qualified as many things. But what we want to do is start learning how to take control of that debt so we can be able to live the life that we want. Why does this matter? is because it's a peace of mind. Ain't no way you can sleep at night knowing you gotta pay your bills and you short on them. Going check to check or picking up a part-time job and picking up odds and ends just to be able to make ends meet. We don't want to be living life in survival mode. We want to make for sure that we're thriving. So the reason why you're here to learn about how you can get out of debt. First thing first, what I would recommend is snowball debt method. That's right. So look at this example here of all these debts. And then here's an example of what I want you to do to write it down from smallest to largest. What that means is that you're going to make the minimum payment on all your debt. And then any excess funds, I want you to apply that towards the smallest balance. So let's do an example to make for sure we're still on the same page before we proceed. Okay, so this is just example purposes. I just made up some numbers just for to be able to break it down on how to understand on how you want to do your debt. So let's say, for example, you have Chase with a minimum payment of $50 with a balance of $90. Let's say that you have your second credit card is Amazon with the minimum payment of $60 and a balance of $100. Your next credit card is going to be Navy Federal with a minimum payment of $100 with a balance of $200. Next is your Citibank credit card with the $250 minimum payment with a balance of $500. So what you're going to do is make the minimum payment of all these accounts, right? So that minimum payment is going to be $460. However, you have a total balance of $890. Let's say, for example, that you have $500 to pay towards your debt. So what you're going to do is 500 minus $460. So what you're going to do is take the money that you have available to apply towards debt. You make the minimum payments. So $500 in this example, minimum payment is $460. So the difference that you have available is $40. That means that excess funds that you have, you're going to apply it towards your smallest balance. In this example where you see Chase, minimum payment of $50, and the balance is $90, what you can do is take that additional $40, apply it towards Chase, and then now you're going to eliminate that. So then next month you still have $500 to pay off. So then the next time that it's time to pay your bills, if it's weekly, monthly, or however you're focusing on paying off this debt, what you could do is now you have $500 allocated towards debt. You eliminated one credit card. Now you have 3 remaining left. So now your minimum payments change from $460 to $410. So now you're going to pay the minimum payments to all. The excess funds is $90 and you're going to apply that to the next smallest credit card. In this case, it's Amazon. So you'll put the $90 additional towards Amazon. Does that make sense? A lot of people really don't understand on how to do a snowball debt method, but essentially it's not skipping any minimum payments or anything like that. You want to pay the minimum payment of all your debt, and any extra excess cash flow, you're going to apply it towards the smallest balance and rinse and repeat until you focus on that zero balance. Another option to be able to pay off debt is doing a debt consolidation loan. So this is one strategy you can do is if you take your credit card balances, you could turn around and do a debt consolidation loan, which is going to help increase your credit score because it's going to reduce your credit utilization. I'm going to break it down just in case it went over your head. So your credit score is broken up to 5 primary components. The number one is payment history, right? Next is your credit card utilization. So if you do a debt consolidation with your credit cards, what you're basically doing is taking all your credit card balances and paying them off. So you're transferring the debt on your credit report based off of the categories that it represents. So you're taking that credit card and you're going to put it into a debt consolidation, which means your credit card balances could have been over 30%. It could have been at 100%, right? But because you do a debt consolidation, you're paying them off, it brings it to a zero balance. And that second component highest of your credit score. So now you reduce your credit card utilization, which helps increase your credit score. So doing a debt consolidation will be another suggestion. If you need help on figuring out what financial institution to go to, how do you start that process, feel free to click the link below and set up a one-on-one directly with me, and I would love to assist you throughout that process. This is an example of a debt consolidation I did, and I made for sure that I paid it off and I saved money because of the interest rate as well, because the interest occurs daily on all loans. So a debt consolidation is definitely something that I would highly recommend. You could be able to do a debt consolidations for your student loans. So instead of having student loan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when you make that payment, it disperses it all. Now, however, the issue also happens is when you have a late payment on your credit card. So you have student loan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, because there's multiple student loans, you're going to be late on every single one. Versus instead, if it was one lump sum consolidated into one loan, it would just be one late payment. What makes up the biggest thing of our credit score, aka that adult emoji pig is payment history. So this is another thing that I recommend, is you could be able to consolidate your student loan debt into one lump sum payment. Another option will be is to increase your credit card limits. You can be able to help pay off debt by increasing your credit card limits because you are reducing your credit card utilization. Now, this method does not work if you're maxed out, okay? You're gonna have to apply some of these other methods that I'm offering. But another trick is increasing your credit card limits, which gives you more buying power. And then sometimes you'll be eligible for a check. Basically, a check will be if like Citibank does it, Chase does it, just for two different examples of where you could write yourself a check. And sometimes they have incentives or promotions of 0% interest for a certain period of time. Another option is doing a balance transfer. You could be able to do a balance transfer on an introductory credit card that's offering 0% for 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, you know? And so what you can do is strategically be able to really heavy pay off that debt if you transfer that balance to a credit card that's gonna have that 0% APR instead of paying 21.99% over here. So definitely look into a balance transfer. I always tell people is like call, see what type of promotions or things like that they have. Look into other credit cards that you may have as well. The benefits of doing a balance transfer is basically it's playing the long game. Give you a little bit more time on your hands so you can really focus on paying off debt. So if it's like, hey, if I work overtime for the next 3 months, I can get enough money to pay this off, that would be something, you know, or if it was a plan for 9 months, that's something else that you could be able to implement. The biggest thing when it comes to a balance transfer is make for sure you are reading the fine print and knowing the date of when interest does occur, because then it could literally backdate and it's like you did this balance transfer for nothing, and a lot of people don't pay attention to stuff like that. Another option to be able to get off of debt will be using your 401k. It's not the ideal for most people, and I get it. I'm just giving you this information. I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant. Take this advice as you choose, but I want to give you realistic things that you can do, and that may be using your 401k to where you could be able to pay everything off and not hurting your credit. So if you want to be able to get a house and that's not holding you back, you know, and then just really focus on paying that off. Sometimes it may be better to get a 401k is because you're gonna have a lower interest rate. Another option to be able to get out of debt is using the equity in your house, in your car. What I mean by that is, let's say that your vehicle is worth $40,000 and you only owe $20,000. Use the equity. Take the difference. If you need help, make for sure you get my ebook down below on ways how to save money. And while we at it, make for sure you like, you comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. Show your girl some love. I'm dropping gems for you. You about to save mad money. Go ahead, cop that How to Save Money ebook. Or let's say, for example, if you want to use the equity out of your house, that's another option that you could do to use the equity. So equity is basically when you are positive, when you're in the green, when you owe less than what the value. So basically the value is higher than what you owe. I think that's the easiest way to put it, yeah. So basically your value is higher than what your loan amount is. Unless you owe free and clear, shout out to you. Those are just a couple different ways on how to tackle debt, but make for sure you know a number. Be able to take these strategies to get out of debt, but also what you need to do is create a budget. Make for sure you are analyzing what's coming in, what's going out. What I mean by that is write it down, simple, pen and pad. I really don't care what you use, but just write down what is your total monthly income. Don't say about around this, between 100, 200. That's not an exact number. And there's a huge difference between $100 and $200. I need exact numbers. You need to know exact numbers. So I would definitely encourage you to be able to budget. Make for sure you budgeting. During this journey of becoming debt free, tackling debt, whatever it is, make for sure you're still paying yourself first. Don't neglect yourself because you don't want to incur more debt. So always make for sure you're still saving while you're focused on paying off debt. And don't make it like, dang, I got debt and that means I should not save because that money be going towards debt. That's the wrong mindset to have. So I definitely want to make for sure that we're still saving in the midst of all of this. But once you write down your numbers, I want you to organize it smallest to largest. Make for sure that you're paying your bills on time, because if you're not on time, you're getting late fees. So that's more money that's going to things that it shouldn't be. Make for sure that you are minimizing your expenses and cutting certain costs so you can be able to pay off debt. One of the biggest things that I did was eliminate cable. Cable was $100 a month. Just 1 year, I'm saving $1,200. Sometimes it's changing your phone bill. Sometimes it's not eating fast food. Sometimes it's canceling your gym gym membership that you're not utilizing. There's so many ways to save money, but if you need help, make sure you click below and go ahead and copy my ways to save money ebook. Another option is, if you're struggling with debt, is contact your creditors. Instead of being late, create some type of repayment plan. Other options is doing skip payments on some type of loans to be able to help you get ahead. You know, when I was struggling, I used to work a lot of overtime in November, December around the holiday time, and I will rack up a lot of overtime and I claim exempt. Again, make sure you seek advice from your tax advisor. This is not advice that I'm giving you. This is something that I personally did, and I'm just sharing a story with you. Within that is, I did that one paycheck, hurry up and change it back. If I'm paying $2,000 into taxes that month, then that was $2,000 that I could be able to allocate towards debt. But these are just some tips and tricks that could be able to help you get out of debt. My thing is, we ain't got no business Netflix and chill if you got debt. I get that you may need a break, but make for sure that you're doing whatever you need to do to be able to get out of debt, to make for sure that you're not living the rest of your life struggling, living your rest of your life trying to figure out how you go make ends meet, and changing the trajectory for your kids. Oftentimes, people always talking about, I'm willing to go broke for my kids. Newsflash, that ain't no badge of honor. Get rich for your kids. Get financially stable for your kids. Pay your bills on time for your kids. Leave something to your kids other than debt and stress. But before I get out of here, I'm your girl Nika Johnson, and I just got one question for you. Is that in your budget? Boom.